Have you ever wondered what makes people tick, or have you ever thought about the things that are very important in order for you to communicate more clearly? Well, in this video, I'm going to share 5 pro tips with human insights that win more sales. Stay tuned. What's up, FlowChat Connector? Sean back at you with another high-ticket tune-up. Hope you're doing really well today. Don't forget to like the video. Share this out to somebody that needs this and wants to get better at sales. And don't forget, please subscribe to the channel. That's always important to us. Today in this video, we're going to dive into some human insights that can actually help you win more sales. Very simple, very easy. This one's fire. So it came from a question that we actually got from Wency. And Wency asked this. She says, Sean, people never want to listen to me in my sales calls anymore. Any insight? Well, the reason people probably aren't listening to you is because you might not be listening to them. But let's dive into it, and I'm going to share a couple of pro tips that will help. So first and foremost, we got to understand how we learn and buy as humans, right? Now, this came from a book called Skill with People, the revised edition by Les Giplin. If you haven't read it, it's called Skill with People. It's a really great book. And first, we need to look up 83% of people learn and buy through sight. That's why one of the meta biases, there's 6 meta biases. It's the first one, visual, right? People learn and buy through looking and seeing something. So what does that tell us? Like when you're in a conversation, you need to look the part, right? You can't be distracted. People can tell when you're distracted, right? You have to be focused. Look at the little green dot on the camera if you're on a Zoom meeting, or look in their eyes versus looking around the room or shuffling your papers, right? So that's always important. Secondly, 11% of people learn and buy through hearing. They listen, right? So they're more audio type people. But again, it's always trumped by sight first. So if you look at these two statistics, you got 83%, you got 11%. That's 94% of the total populace are visual and then auditory. So we got to remember that, right? Because the rest of it is, 3.5% of people learn and buy through smell, 1.5% people learn through touching things. That's the kinesthetic version. And then the 1% learn through taste. If you're in person, you can actually taste and learn if you like something or you don't. With that all said, now you kind of know the statistics. Let's get into some pro tips here. These are the so important tips that you're going to definitely want to keep with you. Number 1, just listen more, right? In an average sales conversation of 60 minutes, a sales pro, a true sales professional, will only talk for 17 minutes out of 60. Right? So 17 minutes out of 60 is when you should be jaw-jacking a little bit, asking questions, primarily taking notes, being very responsive and very actively listening. When I first got into sales, I remember my sales coach, he's like, pretend you have this little antenna that comes up on the back of your head. And every time somebody starts talking, you need to tune that antenna right on that person and make sure that you listen to every single word that they say. So that is number 1, just listen more than you speak. The creator of life gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should use that in proportion. So that's why we should listen twice as much or more than we talk. Number 2, applaud and compliment people, right? This is a human need. It's a necessity. People love to feel loved. They love to feel welcomed. And so if you can applaud and compliment them only when it's deserved, you're going to make people feel more important. Therefore, you're going to gain the likability and the trustability, and then you'll jump over that buyer's resistance right to the line of purchase. Next, most people miss this one. Use their name as often as possible. We have a coach. His name is Alex Sharfin, and I love the guy dearly. And one of the first times I ever saw this in action was when I was on the other side of the coin. And Alex was selling to us his very, very super high ticket mastermind, which we purchased. And during the conversation that I had with him, multiple times he would say my name. And it caught me by surprise because he was like one of the first people that ever did it to me. And I felt like I was in the conversation. Every time he said my name, it like refocused my energy back into the conversation. And I was paying way more attention than I would have normally paid if somebody was trying to sell me something without saying my name as much as he did. And I wouldn't go overboard and say their name every single sentence. What I would do is I would try to trickle it in every paragraph or even every other paragraph that you're saying. So every 2 to 3 sentences, maybe drop the name, or anywhere from like that 2 to 6 sentence range is kind of the right amount of how often that you should be saying somebody's name. People love their name, even though they say they might not like how it's pronounced. People love their name and they love to hear it said. So if you say it, you're automatically winning the game on a subconscious level. Next, we want to pause before answering. When somebody's speaking with you in a conversation, it's really actually vitally important to take, I call it the pause of 3. So you take 3 seconds after they finish whatever it is they say, leave a little dead space. Now, depending on what personality type you have, if you're like a high I or even a D, those two personalities have a lot of trouble pausing for any period of time in any conversation. They like to talk and they like to talk fast, right? So if you are one of those personalities, we need to tone it down and we just need to wait for the question to be asked to us. And then we pause for 1, 2, or maybe 3 seconds. 3 seconds is optimal. 2 seconds is good. 1 second is, I guess, okay. But when you pause before answering, what it does psychologically with your prospect is your prospect will then think to themselves, and this is happening instantly, they will think without thinking that, oh my gosh, like this person that I'm speaking to is actually listening to what I'm saying. Again, number one. And then secondly, taking time to comprehend a valid and important answer. And so if you pause just a little bit of time before you answer the question, you're going to get a better response. And finally, last and not least is use the words you and your much more often than you probably think you should be using that, right? This is a very vital clue or key when you're keying it. It's like when you're talking in a conversation, you only want to focus on the topics and the subjects that they're saying rather than any subject or topic or agenda that you may have. See, because when you have an agenda and you try to keep changing the topic in a conversation, people are like, he's pushing an agenda. It feels salesy. I don't want to be in the conversation. But if you are able to just ask more important questions, and typically what happens if somebody starts talking about a particular topic, ask 1, 2, or 3 questions about that topic. That person will be so emotionally involved in that. And the 4th question that you come at them with, you can actually transition the conversation and they'll never know. So those are the 5 pro tips on how to make people feel important in a sales conversation. A couple of stories in there so you can hear that. And with that said, you've just been tuned up. I hope this one was valuable for you because I know a lot of people need this because they don't do it. And Wency, I hope this answers your question. And with that said, don't forget, guys, Thursday is statistically the best day to prospect and to sell. So get your butt out there, go make some deals. And I can't wait till I see you next time. Bye for now.